What an absolutely beautiful day today. It's supposed to be like 70 degrees, partly cloudy. Seems like there's like a haze up there now, but for the most part it's beautiful. We're going to be working here in the garden today. We've got a lot of improvements to make, and I cannot wait to share them with you. But before we get started, I just wanted to kind of walk through some of the precautions we take, because right now it's black fly season. Now, if you live in Maine, you know exactly what I'm talking about. They're those little no-see-ums, and they swarm you, and they just make life outside just miserable. So there's a few things that we can do to help mitigate their impact, because you can't get rid of them. The good news is they only last a couple of weeks, but those weeks are miserable. And so the number one thing we have are hairnets. Now, I don't typically use mine until they get really bad, but I have to wear it just in case, so I keep it on my head. Plus it helps keep the sun off of my face and off of my ears. Jen, she wears hers all the time. So that's the first thing that we use as far as our defense. The next thing are smudge pots. Now basically a smudge pot is just a grill or something similar that you set up to just smoke. And what we use is hay. You can kind of see it in there. It's kind of smoky right now, but basically we just use the hay piles that we have collected, and it does a pretty good job of smoking. Now the reason we do this is that the smoke absolutely pushes the flies back. They don't like it. The problem is that it's not 100%, and you got to keep filling it. I mean, we've got a pile here set up already. This one is going. They do die relatively quick though. So basically all it is for us, it's just wet hay. Now the last resort, and it's something that I use a lot of, Jen not so much, is DEET. So I think the DEET that we use is like 70%, 100%, and I'll spray it on my arms, spray it on my clothes, my hat, and then on my ears, and it'll keep the black flies away from me pretty much all day. The downside is that, you know, I've got to make sure that I'm washing that stuff off a couple times a day and then reapplying it, because boy, that stuff is just mean. Okay, well, having said all of that, let me show you what we're doing first. So last year when I built this garden, we used to have 3 trees here. We took 2 of those trees down and we left this one up. It's time for that tree to come down. For this job, we're going to bust out the big 460 Rancher by Husqvarna. I absolutely love this saw. It's got a 24-inch blade on it. It has never failed me, and given the size of the tree, I just don't want to mess around with the smaller 18-inch bar. I'd rather just get in here, get this thing cut, get it sawed up, and moved out of the garden. So that tree fell perfectly. Fell exactly where I wanted it to fall, and I could not be any happier. The next step here is I'm going to cut this tree up. We're going to save the limbs and turn those into wood chips. As far as the trunk itself, that's just going to get cut up and then discarded. This is not good firewood. We may end up splitting it for our outdoor fire pit. Not really sure yet, but for right now, we're just going to get it cut up and stacked off to the side. All right, and that's it. There's all the limbs, and we will get those chipped up into wood chips here in probably a week or so, because we're going to need those wood chips, but we'll get into that later. All right, so now that the tree is officially gone, it completely changes the look of the garden, which is kind of neat. The whole purpose of getting rid of that tree was because last year we noticed that this row did not grow as well as the other two rows. And so we wanted to get the tree down and get this row, on track with the rest of them. Now, speaking of our rows, yes, we do have this one complete. We've already started putting some onions in there, which is kind of neat. So thank you, Jacob. Appreciate those. That's where your onions are going. What we're going to work on right now is getting this row ready for planting. So the first thing I need to do, man, I got to get all that grass out of there and all them weeds. Well, 5 hours later, this is what we've done. Not so bad, huh? So we've got the rest of the onions planted in the first row. We've got this total of what?
102.
102 onions in that row. That's fantastic. And we got this second row weeded, and the third row weeded, and the second row here is ready. Tomorrow, Jen will plant the next 100 onions, and we'll have a total of 200 onions ready to go. So,
only thing we gotta do is get the potato bins ready.
Yeah, we're gonna be working on the potato bins tomorrow, and we're gonna get this third row ready as well.
Not sure what I'm putting in the third row yet.
No, we've got it mapped out, but
this kind of threw off our map.
Yeah, so the onion thing definitely threw us off. But again, Jacob, thank you so much. We appreciate it. Oh, and thank you for the strawberries as well. The strawberries came from our friend Jacob as well. So, all right. Well, we got rid of the tree, and we've got some more onions in the ground. We've got our rows getting done. We are exhausted. It's been a terribly long day. We've got a few other things that we're going to do today. We're just not going to do them outside. We're going to take a ride down the road, go see some neighbors. Oh, yay. And we're getting wet. Oh, that feels good. That feels really good. That's really cold. Okay. All right. I'm going to go soak her, or she's going to soak me, one or the other. Yep, I'm going to lose that one. Oh, you're down. You're done. You're done. I can't have any witnesses for this one, though. We'll see in a minute. All right, who's ready to go outside? Tasanka, you ready? Sue, are you ready? Yeah? Everybody right here, let's go out this side. Everybody ready? Come on, Sue, over here. Sue. Here we go. All right, go on, everybody. Holy heck. And there they go. Hey, folks. Well, it is the next day, and it is absolutely beautiful. Unfortunately, it is supposed to rain later, but that's okay. We're going to be working on the garden still. We've got quite a bit left to do in here. Right now, though, I am going to set myself up, and I'm going to start working on the cedar raised beds. Now, the raised beds that we're going to be building are going to be using the old hay bale beds that we used last year. There's 3 of them right here. They don't look like much anymore, I'll tell you that. These things are really one and done. But with the rotting hay and the soil from last year, it'll be a real nice base, you know, at the bottom of these beds. So, all right, I've got to get some tools together and I got to get started. What you doing, babe?
I'm planting more onions.
Yeah. How many onions are we gonna have all when said and done?
Well over 200 if they all take.
We're really hoping that those are gonna last us like all year. That's a lot of onions.
Planning on making onion powder, dehydrating them, possibly trying to keep some fresh. But since we don't have a root cellar, I don't know how well that would go.
Yeah. Yeah, this is the year of the onion for us. All right, so before I even show you this, I need to preface this with the fact that I have never built a raised garden bed in my life. I've got the idea, I've got the concept. Yes, I've watched tons of videos on people doing it, but I've never actually built one myself. And given the circumstances around how we wanted to build ours, I kind of had to do it my own way. I don't know, you tell me. Here we have a 6x4 foot raised bed. Now, a few things I am going to still do to it. I do want to put a brace here and on the other side just to prevent it from expanding out. I mean, other than that though, it doesn't look too bad, does it? I don't think so. I mean, the whole purpose of it is just to grow veggies in it, right? It looks good. I mean, yeah, I do have like a little gap here which I can fix. But yeah, I don't think it looks so bad. Not too shabby for my first build. Now, I got, I don't know, 3 or 4 more to go. Boy, these things take a lot longer than I thought to make. So I've made 2 of them now. They look kind of cool. Kind of happy with them. Got to build another one for here. And then we're going to build a 6x4 one over here. So, all right. Right back at it, I suppose. Hi folks, so it is the next day. We did get 4 of our raised beds done. We've got to get several more done today. But before we get started with that, it is time for us to start planting our potatoes. Now the way that we plan on planting our potatoes are in kind of silos. Basically what I'm going to do is take some fencing, make a big round circle out of them, or a tube out of it, and then we're going to layer straw and dirt while planting our potatoes within it. The idea with that is that rather than planting them in the ground, we're going to be planting them in the straw, and it'll keep them off the ground. Now if you're new to the channel, last year, unfortunately, of the 40 or so potatoes that we grew, we did not get a single potato that was edible. And the biggest reason is because the voles got to them. So we're hoping by using these silos that we can kind of protect some of our potatoes from the voles, and we can have some potatoes. All right, let's get started. So to make these, we're just going to use the old fencing that we used on the old garden bed for the cantaloupes that we grew. Basically, it's fairly easy. We're going to take this guy and we're going to wrap it up, and then we're going to zip tie it. Okay, so the first one's done. I think it's wide enough. I'll go ahead and cut these, zip tie the excess off. It looks good. Now I just got to make 2 more. So Henry protects our garden, or just kind of provides us entertainment. Hi, Henry. Okay, so now that we have our potato garden silos, if you will, I've got to get started on building more of these cedar beds that are actually going to go over here and replace all of the plastic bins that we used last year. And let me just say that those plastic bins, even though it doesn't seem like it would have worked, they did a phenomenal job last year. I mean, unbelievable. Everything grew in them, and we couldn't be happier. The problem is that they're brittle. There's not a lot of square footage in them, and we just don't like them out there in the garden. So we're going to go ahead and change over to these cedar boxes, and yeah, we'll see how many I can make today. Boy, well, that was exhausting. Between getting the lumber, cutting it, then trying to build them, move them, try to prep the ground. Holy smokes, man. It's been an exhausting day. But let me show you what we've got done here. So we built 2 more. These are 6x4 raised beds. And the nice thing about this is that it's actually just these 2 beds alone give us more square footage of garden than all of the bins that we had, which is really funny because, well, I mean, the bins did so good, but you know, getting these raised beds now is such a game changer for us. The other thing that we did today, and we're going to show a video on this later, but I wanted to show this to you because, so last year we planted potatoes using the Ruth Stout method, and it's starting to rain. So I'm going to make this really quick. But, and it didn't work. It didn't work for a number of different reasons. Number one, instead of straw, we used hay, and we had a ton of grass growing. And more importantly, the voles attacked the potatoes. And we didn't have a single potato last year, not a single one. However, this year we're doing something a little different. Number one, we got straw, and we're doing the towers. Now this tower is a straw and loam tower, and basically it's just layered. I think we've got 4 layers of potatoes in here. This is one of 3, so we are going to make 2 more. As a matter of fact, Jen is in the cabin right now. She's cutting up the potatoes. She cuts them up, lets the cut side kind of scab over, and then allows them to sit so that the eyes can start growing. So once those start growing, we will get a video made of how we do this. Unfortunately today, we knew the rain was coming. We really just needed to buckle down and get this stuff done. And that's exactly what we did. The garden is nowhere near ready for everything, but it is getting better. We're getting there. We still got a lot of work left to do, but you know, the tree is gone. We've got 2 rows that are ready to go. We still have this 3rd row that we've got to get ready. And this spot here was a root stout bed last year, and it failed. So we're going to turn that into another raised row. So we'll end up with 4 raised rows this year. And then as far as the cedar beds are concerned, we're just going to keep building them all the way out here. So I think we're going to get another 2, 4, maybe 5 more beds in here. Yeah, so I don't have any more material for those. So we've got to get some more material. But, oh, the other thing is we have made our corn bed bigger by about 30%. So last year there used to be a hay bed here against the fence here. Well, we've gotten rid of that, and what we're doing this year is the 3 Sisters methodology or method of growing corn, squash, and pole beans. So you got to stick around for that, because there's going to be a whole video on that process as well. So okay, well, the rain is coming. It is starting to come down a little bit harder, so I'm going inside. Thanks a lot for sticking around and watching this video. We got a lot of cool things coming with the garden this year. We really hope you folks stick around and check that stuff out, because we're going to be trying all kinds of new things. But until then, thanks for watching this video. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you guys on the next video.